See what we're building, pushing the limits and now we're unstoppable. Oh, oh, shine on, oh, shine on. To promise to keep believing in us, and we'll turn our passion into trust. Shine on, building a world where we all rise high. Oh, shine on, to promise to keep believing in us, and we'll turn our passion into trust. Shine on, building a world where we all rise high.
Shine on scams tall in the land. Printful shakes can't withstand. Printed 5 steps back in fright. Shine on shines day and night. Shine on print game is strong. T-shirts, skirts, it won't be long. Mugs and more they craft so bold. Their designs break the mold. Shine on reigns supreme in the world of printed dreams. Printful, printified, taking the fall. Shine on conquers all. Quality unmatched in the scene. Their prints always come out clean. Trust and shine on, feel the rush. Others turn to dust. Fast shipping, no delays. Shine on blazes other ways. Reliability in every order. Shine on sets the border. Customization's what they do. Unique designs just for you. Printful wishes could compete. Shine on can't be beat.
We find our way, project teaching us what to say. When ShineOn's magically hit the stores, success is closer evermore. Print on demand in every hand, merchants thriving across the land. Project guides us through the night, in this game we're winning the fight. Project, learn and grow, bright ideas start to show. ShineOn sparkles, we succeed. In this world we plant the seed. Pixels dancing in the breeze, building dreams like endless seas. Every click leads to a chance, that's Produ inside the dance.
Hello, hello everyone. How's it going? Welcome to Coffee with ShineOn. I'm trying to make my screen a bit larger over here. Let me see. Here we go. How's it going, everyone? Where are you tuning in from? Let me know in the comments. I see we have Sophie over here from Austria. That's awesome. I've never been to Austria. I've been to one of your neighbor countries. I've been to Switzerland, but I would love to go to Austria. What part of Austria are you tuning in from, Sophie? Let us know. How's everyone's Friday going so far? I'm tuning in from tropical Costa Rica over here. As always, I have my Poas volcano coffee going on. We see someone here from Florida. Nice. Florida. I'm seeing Texas. Texas over here. That's very cool. New Hampshire as well. Awesome. We have someone over here from Vancouver. I've also never been to Canada. I've been to northern states in the US, but I've never been to Canada. Sophie says Vienna is the place to be. Very cool. Very cool. Central USA, Iowa, we have. Awesome. And Indiana, Canada. Very cool. Very excited for today's Coffee with ShineOn. So we have a very special guest today. Her name is Sejal, and she is what we call an Etsy specialist. So if you've been wondering about the Etsy channel and how it's working right now, you are in the right place. So let me just pull up our slides over here so we can get started. Let's get to it. Gonna. All right, everyone. Yeah, the final trumpet says I'm about 30 minutes from ShineOn St. Petersburg. That's very cool. All right, let's get started. As always, we like to start by presenting our swag winners over here. So this week we have two very special callouts that are not as per usual, I would say. So we have John Austria is how he's named in PODU. He says, new milestone, shipped my first 20 units to Amazon FBA. So this is amazing, John. Amazon, obviously, I don't have to say this, but there's huge sales potential with this in print on demand. It's tougher to approach, I would say. I would say uh, the skill needed, I mean the learning curve, I would say, is a bit steeper than other channels, but it has lots of potential. So huge congrats to John. We have some swag coming your way. And we have also a very special win over here, Ciara Mayer. And she says, I had a great audit call with Sejal this week. She gave me some really good ideas and suggestions. One thing proved itself yesterday when a sale came through at the higher price point suggested, increasing profit. Awesome. This is so good to hear. So, for those of us that are not aware, we haven't, Sejal does a program for us called Etsy Lab. All right. So, when you sign up for Etsy Lab, Sejal herself will go into your Etsy store and provide suggestions, essentially audit your store, and she will help you, overcome issues that you might be seeing with your store. So, this is a great offering that we have going on. If you haven't heard about it, you can find it in PodU. We can also drop the link in the comments. And also, we can drop the link in our YouTube description as well. So if you haven't checked this out and you need some help with your Etsy store, I highly recommend it. Perfect. Let's keep rolling over here. Remember, as always, if you want to get some free swag, just share with us what's working. What's working. Maybe if you got a first sale, if you were able to publish your first product, if you just found something that's working, just share with us and you're going to qualify to get some free swag your way. I can see. Okay, so here's the Etsy Lab link. If you want to check it out, highly recommended. All right. Let's get into our latest news this week. So we have a very exciting Podu live training coming up next week. All right, so it's gonna be Wednesdays with Customly. If you haven't heard about Customly, it's a very cool app that allows you to add all sorts of personalizations to your products. Okay, so it's no surprise to most of us in the print on demand space, but adding personalizations to your products are one of the most profitable approaches you could possibly take, because especially in Etsy, I've seen people just love personalizing stuff because it makes them feel like they're ordering something which is 100% unique. And this makes you stand out. I mean, only print on demand people usually can do customizations, right? So this really allows you to stand out from your competition. So I'm very excited about that. It's going to be every Wednesday starting September 10 in PodU as well. Also, just in case you missed it, we launched this week our Gold Cross pendant that now has an 18K yellow gold finish. So I actually really like this product. And the reason why is because the fact that this is a cross, at least when you're promoting this on Facebook, in today's day and age, the targeting that Facebook does, it's 100% based on the creative you have. So when you have a cross on your creative, Facebook kind of grabs that message and starts positioning this in front of people that might be interested, right, in cross necklaces. So this is kind of an added layer of targeting that can be involved when you use a cross necklace instead of one of our other necklaces. So very excited about this. Also, I know we always say this, so please, if you have not left a review for us, please go ahead and do so. This is more important than you would imagine to us. We work very hard to keep the app up and running, to launch new products for you guys, to do all of these streams like Coffee with ShineOn. So if you haven't done so, please take some time and leave a honest review on the Shopify app. Perfect. Also, we have another surprise. I am not going to reveal this yet. Okay, so if you want to see what other surprise we have going on for you, that's also a new product that has huge potential for this Q4. You're going to have to wait until the end of my interview with Sejal, okay? So that's just how it is. You're going to have to wait to see what this big reveal is. All right. Perfect. So here we go. Let's get into our digital marketers toast. So I have my Boss Volcano coffee over here. Let's get started, everyone. Raise up your glasses, mugs, bottles of flasks, and join me now for the digital marketers toast. Here's to more conversions, more cash, cheaper CPMs, and lower CACs, to higher CPRs and much higher CVRs, to enabled ad accounts and big bank accounts, to upsells, downsells, and cross sells, to winning products and repeat sales, to the thing that everybody knows: the riches are in the niches, but also in your email flows. Ready? Cheers, everyone. Perfect. Now we're going to bring our very special guest over here. One second. Hey, how's it going?
Hello. Super excited to be here. Hello, Rodrigo. And hello, Shiny fam.
Welcome to Coffee with ShineOn. So I already kind of introduced you a bit, but very excited to have you on today. As I
Thank you.
said, she's what we call an Etsy specialist, and this is right up my alley because I also sold on Etsy for a long time. So very excited to have you on. And I say let's get started. Listen, I would love to know how your journey started. So I would love to know where you're from, where you're based, and how did you discover print on demand?
Those of you who haven't met me or like haven't seen me before, I'm Sejal. I'm from California. I live with my family here. I have a 2 year old. So I think I would like go back 2 years. That's when around I started my print on demand journey. And I just turned a mom. And at that time, I really understood the importance of like having something build something for myself, something of my own, with the flexibility that I needed to be around my little one and my family. So I think that was my goal, to be able to spend time with my family and still like go step towards my dream. And when like I scrolled through YouTube videos looking for side hustles, and that's when I stumbled upon print on demand and Etsy as an opportunity. So back then I did not know ShineOn yet, so this was just Etsy, and people selling t-shirts on Etsy is what I came up. So I think the very next week I went ahead and opened my Etsy shop. And I, just like most Etsy sellers out there, like I started off with t-shirts with the hype, thinking, oh, it has great search volume, so I'm going to go super good. And I was like, I think Mother's Day was around the corner, and I did like a lot of mom t-shirts. And luckily I had my first organic sale within the first week, so that was like super exciting. And of course the first sale feeling itself is something I still can't forget and get over, right? Because like that just gives you like proof that okay, you're working towards something that's possible. And then I like did t-shirts for a while, but then I wasn't feeling the vibe, like I did not really connect to designing t-shirts. And that's when somewhere along after a few months I came across ShineOn, and the message card jewelry, which was allowed back then on Etsy. And I really liked the emotional aspect to it, like really to be able to connect with the customer with the messaging on the product, and to be able to actually deliver good experiences, right? So I think that's what I was motivated to do. And I started off with message card jewelry on Etsy, and I did a lot, like I consistently listed for the next few months. And sales came in, like obviously they were super slow, probably like one a week at the beginning, right? And somehow I got to 50 sales. And it was like Q4 was right around the corner. It was October. I remember waking up one day and receiving an email from Etsy that we are disintegrating Etsy and ShineOn, and all your listings
Oh,
are going to be removed. So I like so devastated reading that email, I remember. And I went through all the Facebook groups. People were already complaining that they lost all their listings, and few of them even lost their shops. I mean, that was really sad. And I waited through the day to see what happens to mine, and like eventually during the day all my listings did get removed. So I had hundreds of listings, and it came down to zero. And that was right in October, right when I was preparing for Q4. So I was at the time like I literally cried. I thought I should give up now, maybe it's not meant for me. But that's when I'm like super lucky, that super grateful for my husband. Like he motivated me, he did not let me give up. Like he was like, I've come too far to give up now. And that's my dream, so I need to like not let this one bad thing drag me down, right? So I listened to him, and at the same time ShineOn launched acrylic plaques.
yeah.
So that was like a great thing, great timing for me, because I was like, okay, now I can't do jewelry anymore. I have my store intact, so I'm grateful for that. And I think the next 1 month in October I launched a lot of plaques. I got to about 50, 100 listings. And I thought like, okay, I've just uploaded my listings now, like just before Q4. So maybe my listings never get ranked and people don't see my listing. So maybe I wouldn't have a good Q4. But I was surprised. Like I had an amazing Q4 beyond my imagination. I had 500 plus sales in that 1 month. So that made me realize the potential of Etsy. Like I think that is something so many people overlook. People say it takes months to rank listings, but my shop just proved it. Like listings just a month ago that I launched, they ended up doing so well. So I mean, I think that's when after that there was no looking back, and then it's been consistent since then, and I've been consistently doing six figures a year. So yeah, I'm like super happy about that. Yeah, so that's
That's
been.
an incredible story. I love it. So let me just ask you a couple of questions just so I can get the timeline right.
Mhm.
So, right, you started with message cards and we had this whole debacle. in that same year, 2023, right, was
Yes.
when you started doing acrylics.
Yes.
So that's actually amazing because I hear a lot of people say that, Etsy is saturated after 2021, 2020, it's saturated. You can no longer start a new shop, but you kind of proved them wrong. I mean, you had no listings in the middle of 2023, and you started listings acrylic plates, and you had a good Q4. So that's amazing because some people seem to think that I think it's kind of people see it as if you're already ranking on Etsy, you're great, but if you're starting from scratch, you're screwed. But that's not really the case.
Not true. Yeah. I mean, of course,
That's
even I had no reviews and I had no sales, no like proof for people to trust my shop. But then it is
mhm.
all about the kind of designs you push. If people are gonna love your design, and they would not find it anywhere else, they would buy it no matter what, because they're emotionally
Yes.
uh, connected to it right when they see your design, right? So I think that's where the magic is. It's sometimes not about the reviews and the number of sales. Like if you connect with your customer on the first look, then I think you have that sale.
Yeah, and you make a great point also. You mentioned you started with t-shirts, right? Um, so for everyone that doesn't know, t-shirts have a very thin margin in general. So you're looking at, couple of dollars per sale, maybe because everyone sells them for such a cheap price on Etsy. So you're kind of competing not only with your designs, but there's kind of a price war going on. So it's complicated. But with a lot of our products, the margins you can achieve are much higher. So you can have, a much more profitable business. And also, one thing that's interesting is that you probably, correct me if I'm wrong, but you probably transitioned a lot of your message card designs into the acrylic plates, right? Or do you need to change a lot of the messaging in general?
No, actually, looking back, I did do that. Like a lot of message cards from my jewelry actually went on to the plaques, and the same messaging worked on the plaques. So I did not have to do too much research into messages at that time, because I already had like so many cards that I'd made. So I think I pretty much used the same ones on the plaque.
Yeah, that's very interesting because that's message cards and acrylic plates. They share like some sort of shared market, I would say. So that's a great opportunity to just be able to transition your designs over there. And yeah, another thing I wanted to ask you was regarding your I wanted to get a bit into tactics. Like we already know your story, how you started, right? But I would really like to know like your thought process when it comes to Etsy. Like you're sitting at your computer, right? Blank screen, you want to launch a new product. How do you approach product research on Etsy?
Okay, so initially what I used to do is like I think most people out there did, like I would batch my research, my listings, and my I mean the designing and the listings, right? So there would be days when I would be researching, and then based on that research I would design and then list, right? But in that process, I for myself I realized that uh, while researching there was so much that I had to store information, right? And that became overwhelming when I was trying to design, because then I wouldn't know what to do first, then and how to proceed, and there would be so much information from research that I would even forget by the time I get to designing and listing. So that's when I
Mhm.
changed my process a bit, where I go about researching, and if I find a good product in my research, I immediately go ahead and design it and list it, so that it turns into action right away. So that way I realized, like, I stopped procrastinating action, and like get keep being in the loop of research, which I think most sellers face. That, like, you get just so lost in research, and then after coming out of it, you're so overwhelmed that you don't know what to do, and then you just like get it go let it go. So I think that's how I refine my process to like really turn research into like actionable listings. So that is one thing that I do. And the mindset part, I think in the beginning, this is a mistake, like I think I've seen most sellers do, I myself did. We try to be perfect, like we want the
Mhm.
perfect SEO, we want the perfect images, design, and we think like what we do not like, others might not like, but that's not the case, right? I feel progress is so much more important than perfection, because in pursuit of perfection you try to learn too much, and not be able to convert that into action, and you procrastinate your action. So I think that's what I try to do. Not like fear about the unknown, and rather like take step by step and learn along the journey. So I think that really helped me, like, to consistently do action and get the results that I've got.
That's great. So yeah, if you're listening, action-based approach is what she recommends. So it is so common to get caught up in the weeds in print on demand. And what's funny about Etsy is that honestly, I've seen shops with the most horrible logos I've ever seen in my life, and with the most random shop names have incredible sales. Right. So it's you don't need to spend a month thinking about how you're gonna name your shop and your logo and stuff like that, because people already trust Etsy in general. Um, so you should focus on the activities that are gonna eventually turn into profit, hopefully for you. So if
Yes.
you're doing product research, like she says, take action, go and publish one product. That's also what I love about Etsy, is that you just publish a product, and then it has the potential to be seen by someone. And I think that's also pretty amazing.
Yeah, yeah.
So I wanted to ask you also about a bit more specific about product research.
Mhm.
So let's say we're focusing on acrylic plates, right? So do you usually look at other acrylic plates on Etsy? Do you just look at phrases in general for other products,
Mhm.
maybe in other different categories? How do you usually, approach this?
Okay. So first thing, like, when I started off my shop, I realized that initially when I was going after the high competition niches, the niches which have like amazing search volume, for example, to my daughter, to my mom. But then, like, there was so much competition in those listings, in those categories, that it would be impossible for like a new seller to immediately
Hmm.
rank. Like, so that's when I realized I really needed to niche down and find those niches and categories that were underserved on Etsy, that were like that had pretty less competition, and still there was decent search volume. So that's where I like integrated that as a part of my process, where I first go after those niches and keywords, try to find that. It could be generic, doesn't have to be related to plaques, right? So gift for somebody, like, for example,
Hmm.
maybe gift for a flower girl for a wedding, right? I mean, that is something super niche down compared to gift for like mom of the groom, which is like super common, right? So that's where I would do my research, find those specific keywords, and then go back to Etsy and look what is like doing well in for that keyword already. And that could be a jewelry, that could be a journal, it could be anything. But you can always pick elements from that, see what phrases are working, see what graphics are working, and make your own combination and design a completely new product. So that way you are new to the market with that concept.
Yeah, that's great advice. And when you mention what's working for everyone that's listening, usually how I approach this is that I take a look at the reviews of the product on Etsy, for example, because what's so magical about reviews is that if a specific product has, 10 reviews, there's probably like 100 people or more that have purchased this product. So that's the clues you're looking for. Someone took out their wallet and purchased this product and left a review. So something about the message in this case is causing that. So that's what she's paying attention to. She's taking a look at what's selling, what's what's working, and then you can make it your own,
Yes.
through your own designs, your own messages and stuff like that. So that's pretty cool. I also was wondering, when you needed to start again with plates, you mentioned you got your first sale like in a week, right?
Yes, that was with a t-shirt.
Oh, that was with a t-shirt.
Yeah, that was after I launched my Etsy shop, and I initially like launched maybe few 10, 15 t-shirts. And I think within the first week, the first few sales were obviously like friends and family, but then I don't consider
Mhm.
that as like an organic sale. So, and the first organic sale like from an unknown customer came like I think after a week.
Interesting. But when you started listing plagues only, what I
Mm-hmm.
wanted to know is how many listings did you have to publish and how long did it take to get you that first acrylic sale?
Uh, I think since it was already October and there was like quite a lot of search volume, it probably took me less than a week as well for that.
That's amazing. And do you remember how many listings you had going on for plagues at that
I
point?
I think by end of, I mean, for Q4 I had about 60 70 listings. That was all the listings on my shop. So I was just at that number. So when people say you need like thousands of listings to like even be successful, like that just showed
Hmm.
like no, like a few hundred listings are also good, provided you really like have research backing those listings.
Yeah, fully agree with that. So, I mean, do you still have like a publishing cadence with listings? I mean, do you still publish, certain amount of listings every week? Or do you think it's not necessary? What would you recommend for people to have in terms of a routine, a testing cadence of I want to launch X amount of products every single week, every single day? Do you think that's positive? Do you think it's not really that relevant? Do you think it empowers the algorithm?
Well, I think that's not true that like, listing every day helps the algorithm because
Mm,
uh, like even if you do like a bunch of listings a week, I think that does the job. But why we really need to approach it that way is because so that you stay consistent. Because so I make sure that I do at least one listing every day, no matter what, right?
okay.
And if I do more, I have time, then I do more. But just making sure that I do one listing per day, so that way I make sure I'm learning something new each day and improving for every listing. So that way over time you'll yourself see how much you've improved over time with respect to design, SEO, your images and mockups. So that growth comes only with consistency. So that's the reason I would recommend like go ahead and list every day. Another thing, like I see like a lot of YouTubers talk about like you need like to upload 10-20 listings a day, but then I think after a point that would lead you to burnout and then not take any action. I would rather focus on like consistency rather than intensity. So do it small, like take small baby steps, maybe 1-2 listings a day, but then do it consistently.
Yeah, that's great advice. You need to show up, and also if you stop posting, eventually you can get rusty, right, in a platform. Like you're not aware of how listings are being updated, how they work, and stuff like that. So let me ask you something that's I think is very important on Etsy. How do you approach SEO with your listings? Because I've seen people that have very complicated approaches, but I also seen people that have a crystal clear, very simple approach. Like let's use, for example, if you're selling let's use the flower girl analysis that you just mentioned. How would you structure for example, your title and your tags with a product like that?
Okay. So I think that's the as new sellers we have the habit of overcomplicating SEO, but it is not much. It is I feel it's just common sense. Like what would you need to get into the shoe of a buyer and think what is the buyer gonna search in the Etsy search bar to get to your product, right? So that your listing shows up to them. So, for example, of gift to a flower girl, if it's a necklace, so you would like I would first my first few keywords would be probably flower girl necklace from bride, because who would be gifting
Hmm.
it, right? From bride. So first so the stuff that I tried to include in my title is one, who is the recipient, who is the gift giver, what is the occasion, and what is the product, right? So I think these four categories is what we need to cover as a part of title and tags. So I think it's basic common sense behind that, and a little bit backing it with research. I go in the Etsy search bar and try to just type in the first few words, maybe like gift for or wedding gift for, and Etsy would suggest me, okay, what are the keywords related to flower girl. And if I just type in flower girl in the search bar, it would give me the terms that are most searched for. So those keywords I would prioritize in my title, and then read the remaining title flow based on whatever extra details that I need to add, and like the occasion, the gift giver, and the recipient.
Okay, so you do add like a list of long tail keywords in the title itself, right?
Definitely. I think that is
Yeah.
what I think moves the needle a lot, because if you're going to go for generic broad keywords, like if I would do just a flower girl gift, then I mean, I would surely show up for searches, but then what is the chance that that person actually wants to buy that? But somebody typing in flower girl necklace specific from bride, or maybe like flower girl plaque with a picture, right? If you have those keywords, that long tail keyword in your title, and that comes up to that buyer, that is exactly what they were looking at the first place. So it would be a no brainer that they would go, that would go convert. So I think long tail keywords are definitely like game changer in titles, especially.
Yeah, I used to use, I mean, every single character that was available to me in the title to fit in as many long tail keywords as as possible.
Yes. But
And
yeah, like just to add that, like now Etsy has changed guidelines on titles, and they want it to be much simpler to read, easier to read when a buyer looks at it. So I think that is something going forward we need to keep in mind, like make the titles very readable. Sometimes we tend to repeat a certain keyword quite a lot of times, like gift for flower girl, gift
Mhm.
from bride. So try to make, like, use as less repetitive words as possible, and even if it does not cover 144 characters, it's fine. Like, just make sure you have all those keywords in, and it does not look very stuffy.
Yeah, that's interesting because we just got a comment here from Mark that says Etsy rewrote all my titles this week and many were shortened.
Yes. So Etsy has that update where it is recommending titles for all your listings. That is again an optional thing. You don't have to go ahead with it, because especially for listings that are already selling, most people are recommending not to go ahead and change it, because we don't know. Again, Etsy bring like publishes more rules next week, or if it actually matters in the search algorithm. But I think I would try to apply what they're saying going forward for my newer listings.
Yeah, but they're not forcing it on merchants right now.
No,
They're just suggestions.
it's just guidelines.
Interesting, yeah. Because Stephanie here also has a comment about that. She says they need a better title changer tool if they are going to force that on us. Because they might be testing, you know, this as an
Yes.
option, but eventually they might force it on merchants, right? They might force
No,
like
so
different title
I read their
guidelines.
AI policy, and it said, like, of course that they're gonna incorporate AI in like writing titles, descriptions, and even like at places where you're responding to customers, where AI will generate your response. But they said in that post that, like, as a seller, we have the complete freedom to choose whether we want to go ahead with that or not. Like, we wouldn't be forced into it.
Hmm.
So even if Etsy suggests those titles, it's up to you. But of course, we need to like really be aware of how that affects search results over time, and try to incorporate those guidelines as much as possible.
Perfect. And you already outlined the title strategy. Does anything change for you regarding tags, or do you just generally use the same format? Like the long tail keywords you have on titles, you use it also as tags.
So of course, like for tags, it's just 20 characters limited. So
Mm.
sometimes like a whole long tail keyword won't fit in. It would be just 2 words. So I would split up that long tail keyword into 2 tags. So that way, still both of them will be searchable when they mix and match it. And I would make sure that all my keywords from the title are first in the tags, and then anything extra that I want to fill in, add more information probably about the product. Like if it's like a gold necklace, I add that,
Hmm.
or a vegan leather journal, stuff about the product itself. You can add more in the tags, but definitely like try to include all your keywords from the title first.
Perfect. And one thing I also like to ask everyone that does Etsy, do you use any tools for this, for titles, tags, product research? Do you have any favorite tools you use? Do you just like to, you know, do it old style and do it yourself on Etsy? How do you approach this?
I definitely use Everbee and eRank simultaneously.
Both.
Like I said, eRank I use for finding those keywords, those low competition keywords, and Everbee helps me get like the data behind listings, then how many sales it's had, what's its momentum been, to be able to make like decisions whether this is a product that I want to go ahead with.
Do you consider their sales estimates to be reliable or just like a guideline, the ones that Everbee provides?
I think it might not be exactly. I think also it might not be exact, but then I think overall, if you see the graph, I think it would be pretty
Mm,
much reliable. And one thing Everbee does not do is like it does not consider the current month sales. So I think that is something that you need to look out for through cues
mm,
on Etsy. Like, okay, if there are five in cards, so there are like for 10 people who bought this in the last 24 hours. So those are cues that this product is selling right now. But Everbee is not going to show that it is selling because Everbee updates its data, I think, every first of month or something. So you are losing that 1 month of data where something is already selling and you're not aware. So at that point, you have to like be able to find your own currently selling products also. So you need to have like process for that as well.
great. And have you ever used? There's a feature from eRank that I liked. It was the shop spy tool that you were able to spy on shops and see how many daily sales they're
Yeah,
making.
I
Do you
do
use
that.
that
I
one?
definitely do that. Like I have my competitors, I have them on the list,
Yeah.
and I know okay
Okay.
which competitor has having a good season and when. And if my shop is doing considerably well compared to what the market is doing as well, like others are doing as well. So I think that gives like me confidence. Okay, I'm doing good. Or if I'm having bad days, okay, even like it's a
Right.
trend. Like everybody has that, so it just keeps me motivated. I feel.
I kind of love that feature because not only that, but that's so true. I mean, when you're having kind of a rough week, you're like, "Ah, I wonder if everyone's going through the same misery that I'm going through right now, and even vice versa, right?" And I also use it when I see shops that, like, I can't really tell if they're doing okay. Maybe they're too new, maybe they don't have so many reviews. So I'm really curious. Like, for example, if there's a shop that's targeting a new niche, so, and I really want to know if that niche is working. So I put that shop in the spy tool, and I will usually tell after a few days if they're doing consistent sales or not, right? So
Right.
for everyone that doesn't know, it's eRank has these tools that they allow you to spy on your competitors. So you add a list of like 5 shops, and you need to wait. You need to wait, because it's the sales stats are updated as soon as you add the shop. But for example, you need to wait 7 days if you want to see 7 days of sales data, for example.
Yeah, but it's pretty
So,
much instant. Like if I get a sale, it'll immediately update there. Uh,
mm,
so once I think you have those set in, you will get like daily sales pretty much by the hour.
yeah, exactly. I think we already answered this question. So, yeah. Well, she says thank you. I think she already. Who has tools? Yeah, just so to summarize our last few minutes of conversation, um, she does use Everbee and eRank in conjunction for different tasks. So after the call, you can drop in a comment, maybe if you have a more specific question or anything. But she does use both of the tools for different purposes.
Yeah. And like just to add, like another tool that I would like definitely swear by is Anywhere POD because I
Hmm.
feel that was the one that let me launch the plaques at the first place because that's when Etsy and ShineOn disintegrated and Anywhere POD immediately jumped in and they like built an integration. So at that point, I just went for it, and I'm so grateful looking back because that's made my process so much simpler, and I'm able to offer much more hyper personalization compared to what I could do earlier, and still manage the scale of orders that come in with the personalization. So I mean, for somebody who's looking at personalization in a long term and you want to go for it, like I think I would highly recommend Anywhere POD.
Yeah, that's amazing. And for those of you who are just hearing Anywhere POD for the first time, they help Shine sellers get on Etsy essentially. So it's kind of a integration. So that's very exciting. Actually, I mean, I don't want to reveal too much of this yet, but we're working on a separate offering with Sejal that is also related to Etsy. This one's going to be very exciting. We're looking to help people, find ways to help them sell on Etsy. So we do have something cooking up in the kitchen. we can't really share a lot of details on this, but I'm really excited about this. It's gonna be amazing. So looking forward to that. I'm
Yeah.
not gonna say more on that because if not, Michael's gonna is gonna be upset with me.
Yeah, it's super special. I think one hint, like it's for Q4. So I mean, I think if somebody's like on the fence, like to take action, this would be the right thing. Another point I just wanted to add, like through my journey as to why I started the audits. Right. So back then when I started, I really felt like I was missing the guidance that was required. Like I made so many mistakes along my journey, and if I had the right guidance earlier, somebody to tell me like this is not working for you, or like this is something that you need to tweak, or where I need to focus on, I think I would have saved up so much time and stress that like went behind my shop. I think thinking of that, that's the reason why I started doing the audits, because I feel it's so much valuable when you have a person looking at your shop, a third person looking at your shop, who has gone through those mistakes and learned through it, to tell you that okay, this is a mistake that you can avoid, and like get you right on track again. So I mean, like people on the fence for audits, like go for it. I think this is the best time, like for your Q4, to set up your shop for Q4 success.
Yeah, I mean, and that's a great point. Q4, listen, I mean, I've seen sellers that they disappear for the entire year and they come back for Q4 because they know the opportunity that is being presented. I mean, if you've been all the year kind of all year long just listening about, regarding POD videos, stuff like that, going on YouTube, and you're still on the fence, this is time for you to shine, honestly, because I mean the next few months are always amazing. They're always amazing. There's so much opportunity. So if you're on the fence, especially if you're thinking about doing Etsy, don't miss out on our Etsy Lab offering. And like I said, we have something new that's gonna be very exciting for people that are interested in selling on
Correct,
Etsy.
sellers.
But
So that's another
yeah,
way.
exactly. But I'm just gonna leave it at that for now. Perfect. Let's carry on with our Etsy golden nuggets over here. So before I get into ads, because that's kind of a controversial subject also on Etsy, I wanted to ask you, how do you manage reviews? What's your review strategy? Because that's everything in Etsy. I mean, I remember I used to fight for my life, for those reviews.
Mhm.
I mean, if a customer sent me a message, I even had my notifications turned on and I answered like instantly because especially
I'm
if it's
scared of a
like a
bad
negative,
review.
if it's that's it's kind of a bummer because customers really are holding you hostage with this stuff. But if I got a message that was like, hey, the product I received, it has a flaw, I immediately jumped in and I was like, how can I help you? Because I knew that if it's in some cases, if you don't answer them in an hour or two, they immediately go and leave a review and getting them to change that review is pretty much it's impossible. So I just wanted to know how you approach that side of the business because it's so important.
Yes. So I try to stay one step ahead from the customer. Like right after they purchase the order, I message them like, thank you for the order. Thank you for like, I really, I'm grateful for you trusting in my small business. And that way, I immediately build trust with the customer who's buying probably for the first time, and they do not know my shop and they do not know if I would deliver it, right? All right. So I immediately build that trust at a personal level with that customer. And once the product is shipped and delivered, I message them again. Like I see, as soon as like the status is delivered, even before like they are allowed to leave a review, I message them, hey, I see that the order is delivered. Like let me know if you have like any issues with the order. I'll be happy to fix it. So most of my customers, if they have issues at that place, they immediately message me. So they wouldn't go leave a review at the first place. So I try to do that, so that I can build trust with them and they come to me directly to solve any issues. So that is one way how I like try avoiding negative reviews. But of course, like some customers are gonna leave a review, bad review, no matter what. So there was this very recent incident that happened. Like somehow some other plug got misdelivered to a customer, and she did not receive what she wanted. And she left a review that I had to throw this in the dustbin because it was so bad. Like I did not want this. I would never recommend this seller. I mean, that hurts, right? Like, and that customer didn't even like reach out to me. So I immediately reached out to that customer that, hey, so sorry. And at that point, I did not know that it got misdelivered because she did not send a photo of what got delivered. And I just accepted the mistake. Oh, I'm so sorry. It might have been a mess up. And she was still like not very happy about it. She was like, I really needed this for my daughter, and it came with some other person's name. And so what I did was I reached out to ShineOn, like, this order got misdelivered, please, like, could you help me send the right order? And like, I think that's the best part about ShineOn, like they would happily do it, like if it's a mistake from their end. So they went ahead and like mailed out the product the very next day, and she got a notification, and she like messaged me, oh, I did not know you sent another product. I did not expect that, thank you so much. And that's when I said, like, I really want my customers to be happy and satisfied with whatever they buy. And it would mean so much if you could go back and like change that review, like for my business. So and she went and actually made it a 5-star review and like changed the wording. So I mean, that's possible. So I think out of like 10 reviews that you get bad, you can actually change, go and ask them to change 8 times, right? Like they actually go and change if you make that bad experience into a good experience.
Yeah, no, that's right. And they do change it, but you need to be like political, because Etsy also has like all of these policies around what you can and can't ask,
You
regarding
cannot
reviews.
ask a customer to leave a leave a good review. Like, I think that's with any marketplace. Like you can't like give any incentives to customer to leave a good review. But like if they'd left a bad review and if it was a mistake and you fixed it, then I think definitely you can message them to like request them to update it, right? So I think that is not against Etsy guidelines. It is just that you can't give them any incentives to leave a good review.
Hmm. Perfect. And yeah, I think that it's very interesting that so you actually message them when the order ships separately, like, hey, and that's automated, right?
I have to manually do it, but I have the
Oh,
message ready already automated. Like it's say in the saved reply, so I
yeah,
know when the
it's
order
safe.
is delivered, this is the message that I need to send.
So do you do all this yourself, or do you have someone that helps you out?
No, I do it myself.
Yeah, that's a trend on Etsy. Like Etsy's, I also used to do all of it myself. I mean, because it's complicated to get someone on board.
Yeah.
I think their platform is not really built like Shopify, where you're able to add a bunch of staff accounts here and there, and people log in from anywhere. It's much more personal, I think.
Yeah. Of course, there are
Yeah,
processes to like, instead of typing out each time. So I've tried to make that as automated as possible, as much possible on Etsy. But that's the best you can do.
yeah. And I remember the first review is it's scary, because when you have no reviews,
Yeah, that definitely weighs a lot because out of 5 reviews, if you got a one bad one, your like your rating tanks. But after a
yeah,
moment, like you get like so many, like probably hundreds of reviews in like a few months, and then one bad review, it doesn't hurt much.
yeah,
So
exactly. But I wonder, I mean, if you start a shop and your first review is a 1-star review, do you think it's over?
no, I don't
Is
think
there
so.
any?
I don't think so. Like again, like try as much as possible to get that
Uh,
customer to change the review. Like fix the mistake that you have done. But if the if customer is cranky and they're going to do that no matter what, you cannot stop it, right? Like you cannot change that. But don't let that like drag you down. Like it's okay. One bad review is not going to like spoil. I mean, of course, you might lose your star seller. You might like show up a little lower in ranking because of the review, but again you can build that up.
so you think, I mean, if someone's just starting out and they have only one review and it's a 1-star review, you think it's possible to come back from that?
Of course, because you just need to get more
Interesting.
sales and get
Hmm.
more reviews. So then like try to really reach out to all of your customers to leave those reviews, because then every good review would matter over that bad one.
Yeah, it's so daunting at reviews on Etsy. Like it always used to stress me out. I mean,
Yeah, yeah.
But
I think like
that's
you, if you're like really good at your customer service, you can manage at least 20-25% of reviews compared to the orders, right?
yes,
So I mean that's the good part. So compared to other marketplaces where it's under 10%, like the review rate. So I mean, like as Etsy customers are nice. They really want to leave a review because they have that
yeah,
happiness of like shopping from a small business. So yeah.
perfect. Yeah, so that's I wanted to touch on that because reviews are such a huge part of Etsy, right? So definitely an important part of our conversation. Now, I wanted to ask you about Etsy ads. How do we feel about Etsy ads? Do you like them? Do you think they have no place in an Etsy shop? I always see people with different opinions. I used to do pretty well with Etsy ads, honestly. They used to help me like kickstart a listing. But I see so much controversy on that end. How is your approach with Etsy ads?
So I would say I wouldn't have had like a first grade Q4 if it wouldn't have been for Etsy ads. I was only able to rank quickly for my plots because I had my Etsy ads on and I could get on the first page right from the day one. So and also that it let me get data pretty quickly compared to what you would get
Yes.
organically. So and then there's so much you can do from that data and you can see like what kind of niches are your customers looking out for and like where are you getting more views and visits and then double down on those. So I think I would see Etsy ads as more like something that gives me data quickly and helps me like take
Yes.
more informed decisions. Even though like I am like just at break, even if I'm at just at break even level with the ads, I'm okay with it because it's helped me grow organically and take more data based decisions.
Perfect. Could you quickly go into like maybe a quick summary of your ad strategy, like how much usually budget you have per day?
Mhm.
Do you use all of your listings? Do you advertise all of your listings? Do you only choose a segment? How do you usually do this?
So I tend to like every time I upload a listing, I put that on Etsy ads. Like, so I have
Hmm.
all my listings on Etsy ads, but of course I have my own rules where after a point, after a certain spend, I decide, okay, this is not profitable anymore. And it's not getting the traction, so I switch it off. So with time I refine and optimize my ads that way. So you have to build your own rules to be able to learn when like a product is not going to work with ads and it's not going to work at all. So try know when to stop it. But I do switch on the ads for everything. And and the budgeting really differs like at different times of the year, right? So like this is the time of the year where I would try to slowly up my budget. Like I start at $10 a day, $20 a day, but then
Hmm.
at the peak of Q4, I've even spent like $500 a day. So but that came with time. Like I did not like initially give it $500 a day, right? I slowly increase the budget each day based on the sales and the momentum I'm getting, especially in Q4. So I think it's not like a one
Size fits all.
size fits all strategy. I think it all depends on your shop, the amount of listings, and because at one point, when one or two of your listings are doing really good, you would see like 50 to 75% of the ad budget will go to that one listing.
Yes.
So it's really important to monitor after a while because one product is spending like majority of your budget, and if you're not getting sales, then it could hurt you. So definitely like you really need to monitor them if on high budgets. But initially I just recommend that you give it like $10 a day, in like especially in Q4, leave it for 30 days and quickly get that data and improvise, and if it works or not for you.
And let's say one listing is taking up all of the ad spend.
Mhm.
What rules do you have to say like, no, it's time to kill this?
So I at least wait till it's break even. Like I mean,
Hmm.
for example, if it's a necklace and the if my break even, my break even cost for that necklace is if I spend like $30, maybe that's the amount of profit I get on that necklace. So if I've spent so much and still not get a sale, maybe I switch that off at that time. So it depends on product to product, on your margins, on how much loss you can take on each ad. So I think it all depends, but that's how I do it. I calculate my break even ROAS, and based on that number is how I decide.
Perfect. That sounds great. Now, I want to ask you something kind of to start wrapping things up. It's one of my favorite questions. Michael's also likes to ask this. So let's say again you lose your shop. Let's say you lose your job, you have zero listings, and you need to start over from scratch. What
Mhm.
would be like a 30-day strategy that you would implement to try and get things running again in this Q4?
So I would just really focus on one or two products, and pick that product based on the search volume for Q4, right? For example, like there's some products that would sell only for summer and not do very well for Q4, but probably like stuff like blankets that could do really well for winter and Q4. So first thing, I look at good search volume, products with good search volume, and then really get focused onto that product, like, and not like try to do a lot at a time. So because that way I'm building templates for one product and able to list really fast. So that is what I would do: pick one or two products at max, and list consistently, like how many ever you can a day. So at least one, no matter what. And base every listing with research. So back then when I started, of course I did not do it. I would do some designs from my head, like, okay, this looks nice and this might work well, but it is not the case. So base everything with research, and really get focused on to one product, few niches, and like really test them in all creative angles as possible, because you never know what clicks.
Yeah, and hopefully have those Etsy ads turned on right for this Q4 as well.
Yes, absolutely.
Perfect. That's a great strategy. Thanks so much for hopping on today, Sejal. I think it was a great conversation. There's tons of value in here.
Thank you.
We went over, the research process, SEO, Etsy ads, overall strategy. I think it was very useful. Remember, you can get an Etsy audit from Sejal in Field University, so don't miss out on that. We're not done yet, so I'm gonna say goodbye to Sejal, but I still have the
Launch.
product reveal that I promised on the other end of this. Okay, so thanks so much for hopping on.
Yeah, thank you so much. It was lovely coming here. So yeah, and I wish all of you here like an amazing Q4. I can't wait what's for hold for this Q4. So yeah, like I hope all of you get the success that you're dreaming of.
Let's go.
Yeah, thank you so much. Bye bye.
Thank you. Bye bye. All right, everyone. So as I promised, I have one pending product reveal for you. So let me just get this going. Wait, this is 1 second. This is not the one I was looking for. It's this one. All right. So remember, I promised that there's one other product reveal that we have going on this week. And I'm very excited about this. And it's our heart rose box, everyone. So some of you had already seen our standard one that's here on the lower right side. But now we have heart-shaped rose boxes. So I don't know about you, but I've seen tons of viral ads with these type of products recently with ad spice tools. So don't miss out on this. This is a huge opportunity, especially imagine like those UGC videos you could make, like people reaction videos of people opening up these boxes. So there's huge potential here. Like I said, I've seen a lot of viral ads that use this type of product. So don't miss out on this. We have this new shape, which is a heart shape, and we also have new variants that you can use with the square rose box already. So if you have not set this up, don't miss out. It's a great opportunity to increase your AOV as well. All right. So that's everyone. That's everything I have for you guys today. Thanks so much for hopping on. Remember, if you have any questions for Sejal, drop them in the comments as well. And that's it for today. Thanks so much for joining, everyone. Take care.